Welcome in to Come Get Some. I'm your host, Blake Williams, here with Mr. Come Get Some himself, Gregg Williams, and we're at the Big Play Studios at Burke Lakefront Airport in downtown Cleveland. And we've got an awesome show lined up for you today. And as you guys know, we've been doing here at the kickoff of season 2 of the Come Get Some show, doing some signed free giveaways to our fans. Try to give back, to our fans. Appreciate our fans so much. We had a fun one, and we appreciate everybody reaching out, giving your addresses, on the Are You Tony, pictures, and so everybody, will have those coming and whatnot. But this week's giveaway, big special giveaway, is actually we're gonna do a signed. We'll use our paint pen, but a signed case of garage beer. If you don't know about a garage beer, you got to check it out. It's awesome. It's our favorite. But a signed case of garage beer, and then a four pack of the Come Get Some koozies signed as well too. And so, hey, you'd be looking for the IG reel coming out and the rules of the sweepstake, coming in. But also big news here at the end of this week, the 31st, on August 31st. Reminder to everybody, hey, come out, join in. We've got the Big Play Golf Tournament, the first charity invitational golf tournament on August 31st at Little Mountain Golf Club. If you there's, I think, a few foursomes left if people are still looking to play. If you're not looking to play, and you want to just come hang out and party and stuff like that and chill, more than welcome to as well too. Going to be a cool bourbon raffle that I found out. So some of my friends over at the PGG are going to come and do for charity, and a lot of cool things. But G-Dub, no Rory driver moments. That's the rule.
Yeah.
So,
that's the rule. Hey, back when I was 26 years old, the first time I played golf, I threw them all over the place, threw them up in the trees, and I said, if I ever did it again, I'm done. And I started thinking about that when I saw Rory 2 days ago throw it in the lake, and then yesterday snapped the head off of it by leaning on it angrily. But that's not going to be me. I'm not throwing things. I'm not going to be doing that. And it doesn't mean I won't play full contact golf at times.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be throwing my clubs around.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it was like passive aggressive kind of. Both days were kind of temper tantrum, like child temper tantrum kind of things. I mean, it was a half-hearted throw that didn't even go into the water.
Yep.
I mean, like, commit, I mean, he threw it like a little kid throws a Lego, but not far enough he could go retrieve it. And then, like you said as well too, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a frustration, snap. I mean, like, clearly he knew how much tension he was putting on that, what I mean? Like it was a cane or something, like he couldn't bend over. He's done it a million times before. I mean, it wasn't a surprise that it snapped, but no driver snaps.
No.
All right, I will have a backup driver though, in case you do it.
I can't wait to play. I'm enjoying doing all that right now. So,
but we had a fun weekend this past weekend as well too, right, G-Dub? Yeah. And it was actually G-Dub's first time getting to go to Progressive Field and see the Guardians in that stadium. I'd been telling him all about it and how cool it was, especially for family events. We always go to Family Day every year and try to go to some more games, but G-Dub got to go to Family Day and
great memories.
Sit in the family deck and see the slide and all the family stuff, and then go down on the field afterwards.
This is great.
And run the bases.
And then got to go out there and snap a couple pictures, but then also I was encouraging Tristan to run these bases and touch the base. Let's go. And he's taking the coaching, and he starts flying here a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's him right there. He said, "What did you say?" Okay, I'll run the base.
Well, let's go.
I'll run the bases.
Here he goes.
So there he goes. And he's our little baseball player. And then my daughter Dakota there, dancing and playing. Yep. No doubt. So what was your take? What was your take on just the stadium, for one, Progressive stadium? What was your take on that?
I thought it was very good, and I thought the atmosphere was outstanding. And until I got into the children's club and all that kind of stuff with you all, I thought that was a great way to promote young fans. Okay, to be about wanting to come to be baseball fans later on when they grow up. And then mom and dad's got a chance to do other things too. They got a chance to let the kids play a little bit, and you alternate back and forth by watching the game. And then the family section out there was a real cool area. I thought it was a really great day.
And for the fans out there, I'm now going to pitch it to this. For the fans out there who don't know, I mean, baseball was actually, I think, G-Dub's best sport, number one sport. He was a two-sport athlete in college, three-sport in high school, but two-sport athlete in college, where he played quarterback and pitcher. You played with some good players like 𝗟𝗓𝗓 and whatnot on your team in college. And so, give me your take on the Guardians. What did you see from the Guardians yesterday?
You know what I thought I saw, and again, I watch all the little things when TV's not on them. You know, when they run on and off the field. You know, how they're paying attention to, and, you know, now the shifting rules, you can't do all the major shifting rules, but the communication processes I was watching the players get on seeing what pitch was being called and the expectation by one or two steps adjusting to where they thought the guy, you know, the batter may be hitting the ball. Those are all things that normal fans don't see. It was great for me to be able to be there, to go through all those little particulars and watch even the outfielders make some adjustments too. It was a good day. I think they've got a good team, and they've got to continue to play really, really good defense, okay, or score a lot more runs.
Yeah, and no doubt. And it was a great team win versus a really good team that they're going to potentially see, you know, again in the playoffs. But it's no wonder that they're in first place and looking forward to a really fun fall here with everything heating it up, and hopefully the Browns can have that sort of season as well too.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun for downtown Cleveland to have both the teams rocking and rolling.
Well, hey, stick right with us, because when we get back, we're going to be joined by special guest podcaster extraordinaire Blake Grice of 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗡. Welcome back in to Come Get Some, and we are joined via Colorado. Just got off the bus by our man, another Blake Grice of the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗡, who actually won, of all things, won our first autographed giveaway this year. Yep.
I can.
You're excited about that, huh? Well, hey, Blake, appreciate you joining us. I know it's probably been a long day of math and social studies and straight home to hop on you know, TV and do all the things that you do.
Yeah, I mean, coming back from some grade today, I mean, hey, today was a little rough, but I gotta say I'm excited for this and I'm ready.
Well, thank you for joining us, my man. And I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, right? And so I'll tee it up. You know, Blake is 12 years old, correct? 12 years old, still seventh grade, just started seventh grade in Colorado, and he's a podcaster, card and memorabilia extraordinaire as well too. His podcast is called The 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗡 instead of The Breakdown, The 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗡. Follow him, IG, YouTube, does interviews everybody. But why don't you give us a little backstory on kind of your story from birth, growing up, and then kind of how you got into doing what you do now and why you do it.
Okay, so I was born in 2011, October 21st, and as I was growing up, my brother and dad actually collected a lot. And you know, I grew up with that. I grew up in that household with all these cards and memorabilia, and my dad and brother always did it, and they would involve me sometimes. And you know, I really started to love it, but I also eventually wanted to start a channel. And my dad, he told me about Project 70. It was this top set. And you know, I was actually very curious. And we looked at it, and you know what? I'm like, let's do this. And I decided that I wanted to start up my channel by reviewing every single 1,020 cards in that project.
Wow. And so that's how you started your channel, just reviewing cards, breaking cards, doing that sort of thing.
Well, I didn't just start out with just cards. I mainly did interviews actually on my YouTube channel. So, you know, I've been doing a lot for a long time now, for about 4 years since my channel started. So, you know, been a lot of places, especially for interviews, so stuff like that.
Well, hey, speaking of interviews, okay, so you took it there, segue. So speaking of interviews, so we're talking about The Rock, we're talking about RFK Jr., Vanilla Ice, Jim Kelly, Roger Clemens, Reggie Jackson, Bartolo Colon, Jack Nicklaus. Like, are you sure you're 12 years old? You know, and I mean, like that sounds like a wish list of mine. Like when I was 12 years old. But and that's just to name a few. And so who's your favorite person that you've interviewed and why?
Well, I have to say RFK Jr. because first of all, he's an amazing man. He's really great, and I think he's just really amazing overall. He's just a great man, and I really enjoyed talking to him. I mean, everything he had to say was just great.
So what about the interview? Like what made him so great? I mean, obviously we get to see him right now, like on you know, in all the primaries and you know on the political kind of debates and all that type of stuff right now. But what about him like made him so great?
Well, what I think really made him great is, first of all, he talked a lot and greatly about his family history, especially with JFK. And, he loves America a lot. And I especially know that because, again, I talked to him personally. He's very keen on keeping America alive and great.
And how did that come about? Like, tell us a little bit of like how did that come about that you got that interview set up?
So, I just reached out, and I surprisingly actually got a response. I wasn't assuming I would, but he was actually going to be in Colorado really soon when I messaged him. So it actually just all played out really well. I got to talk to him backstage before he went up for a speech. And again, he's just amazing. He, again, loves America. He's a great family guy. He's great to kids. I know personally again. And, he's just awesome.
I think that's outstanding that you're able to evaluate that and you sense and feel that he's a regular, very good person. Okay. And that's outstanding. And you can sense that. Everybody can sense that. And that's very cool that you said that.
So, hey, switching gears, you gotta. So, tell us the story of the orange hat, right? Like, I mean, I get is it a Broncos thing? Is it a Colorado thing? Like, I see you with it all the time. So, what's the story with the hat?
Okay, first of all, I get Broncos a lot, but no, actually, very simple way to word it is I love the color orange. But where the cowboy hat came from, there's a guy. He's up at Greeley Hat Works. He's very awesome. Trent, he's very awesome. Trent Johnson, he's made 2 of these now for me, and they are just overall amazing quality. Little bit of beaver in there, just great guy. He's too amazing. He's great at his job, and you should, if you're ever in Colorado Mountains and you want a cowboy hat, go check him out. And again, I gotta say, he's so awesome. He's made 2 hats for George W. Bush. I mean,
that's big.
You are a superstar, my man. You are a Colorado superstar. Like custom orange. That's my son's favorite color as well too. So that's awesome. I'll have to show him this. But custom orange. It looks like a Stetson. It's awesome. So what's the jersey you got on?
Oh, this jersey. Let me get up here.
Oh, pretty cool.
CMC.
Yeah.
Valor Christian, a Colorado boy. I'll tell you about CMC. And so so I coached, as you know, Blake, a majority of my coaching career in the NFL, but I did this little stint in the middle of my career in college, and I recruited Colorado. That was one of my places that I had. And so I remember the very first film, and I'm coming from like years of NFL film, right? So I know like I'm looking for that type of player. That's just how my mind is. And so I turn on this Valor Christian film, and I was like, who is that? I was like, I want that. And all of our coaches were laughing. They're like, you're not getting him. They're like, you're not getting him. They're like, he's already committed to Stanford. And I was like, who is it? Why can't I recruit him? Why can't I get him? And they're like, that's Christian McCaffrey. And I was like, oh, like Ed McCaffrey's son? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, he's pretty good. And they're like, yeah, yes, he's an NFL player. And I was like, I mean, that's what an NFL player should look like in high school. Why are you such a CMC fan?
Yeah, well, I love Christian, first of all, because he's just an amazing player. But I love him not because of that, because he's such an amazing person. Now, I also gotta say, I'm Christian, and he, I believe, also has those same beliefs. And I think it's also cool he has Christian, and he's Christian.
Yeah,
I think that just kind of works out pretty well.
that's pretty good.
So tell us about tell us about the overall big mission of what you do with your media in your kind of presence and whatnot, from charity to kind of the overall mission and everything that your goals.
Yeah, well, I love talking to these people because I love hearing their stories and their perspectives from their life. And a lot of them are actually very inspiring, and they inspire me to do some of the stuff I do. It's insane, some of these stories. And again, I'm a people person. I love talking to them just in general. And this has been an amazing journey, and all the amazing people I've talked to.
That's awesome, my man. Do you do you play sports yourself?
Well, I swim, and I'm actually starting about. I'm getting into golf. I think both are really cool. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. We have our first annual big play charity golf tournament this upcoming weekend. But you're gonna have to next year when we have it, you're gonna have to come out to Cleveland and play with us.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I was actually just in Cleveland, so that's kind of funny.
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
Yep, you were at the card show.
At the big collectibles.
The big
convention.
collectible show. Yep.
Yep.
The National.
The National, and it'll be in
That's
Chicago
right.
next year. But we'll have to get you out here to play some golf and maybe go to a Browns game. Who's your what's your favorite sport? And then two questions. What's your favorite sport? One, and then two, who's your favorite football team?
Okay, so first of all, I love football. I love the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And second place, real quick though, is baseball. Anyway, I love football and the 49ers, especially CMC. He's too awesome. I love Skittle. I mean, I love all of them, man. They're too awesome. They're too cool.
So
They're great.
why 49ers and not Broncos?
Okay, well, I like to support my home teams, but sometimes when I don't do that good like the Rockies, I have to go with someone else.
And so you say the 49ers have been good pretty much your whole life, from between the Harbaugh era and then now the Shanahan era, a lot of it. And so I can see it from that standpoint. Well, hey.
And I go all the way back to the Bill Walsh era, and all those years of coaching and all those kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's big time. And you know what? The fact that you're a big-time McCaffrey fan is I've had a chance to coach against a father and a son that also is in the NFL, and that's one of the ones I've had a chance to do that too. And it means I've been doing it a long time, and those guys have popped up, and now here comes CC.
Well, hey, Blake, I want to switch gears real quick before we send you away and give you a shot. And so do you have a question you want to ask Coach Come Get Some over here, Coach G-Dub over here next to me? Do you have a question for him?
What's your favorite team in the NFL and player, and why?
Well, the favorite player, or the best player I ever had a chance to coach was, unfortunate accident, was Sean Taylor, when I was at the Redskins, now the Commanders. But I've enjoyed every stop along the way. I love the Saints in the Super Bowl. I love the Titans and the Oilers when I started. And I love the Bills, all those different places we've been, the Rams also. But I'll have to say by far the best player, and I've got 20, 25 players now in the Hall of Fame that I've had a chance to coach. But Sean Taylor was by far the best player I've ever had a chance to coach.
Hey, that's pretty fair. That's some pretty fair choice. And, I actually want to talk about a different sport now, hockey. So, Phineas with hockey, I love Connor McDavid. I mean, I love him because he's so fast on the rink. I mean, he's insane. Just how he glides along the ice like it's nothing, like he's on air or water, is just too cool.
I watched him this year too, and he got my respect. I like how tough and hard he plays, and he doesn't take plays off. He doesn't, take rest periods. I mean, he is a very, very hard-nosed, very athletic and very gifted. And just like you said, he is fanatical on how he can change all the different directions on the ice. I like him a lot too.
Well, hey Blake, man, we appreciate you, my man. We appreciate you joining us. Love watching everything you're doing. Please, fans, Big Play fans, go and check out the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 and all of his awesome stuff that he's doing and support. And hey, good luck the rest of this year, and good luck with your golf game. And hope to see you out here at the Big Play Invitational next year, my man. Take care.
Thank you so much, and God bless. Just thank you guys. This was awesome. This was awesome.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you very much. It's great for you to be on.
Hey, stick right with us, because when we get back, we're going to go inside the Browns season kickoff. Welcome back into Come Get Some, and it's almost NFL kickoff of the season time, and so it's end of preseason. And GW, this is kind of like it's bugging me out a little bit, because since I stopped coaching in the league, the format has kind of changed with extra games and like the preseason being different and stuff like that. And so it's kind of a little weird to me now that the preseason's over, but then we got this long kind of lull. Forever it was, hey, everybody played that final preseason game on a Thursday, and then the team that had the kick off the season kind of had to play quickly, right? They had a week. Everybody else had 10 days, and now it's like everybody, I think it's the opening game has from their last game had 10 11 days to that Thursday game, and everybody else has almost essentially 2 weeks. I mean, the Browns played on Saturday night at 10 p.m. in Seattle for whatever reason. I have no idea. No, I was up watching it, and
that would not be me. We're not, because the NFL doesn't schedule those games. That's what we do as our own organization. I don't want to be out there on the West Coast. No.
Yeah, well, especially at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night to end preseason, but then they get 15 days, until their kickoff and whatnot. But we saw the news come out, it's come trickling out here today that it's expected, and it's probably not a shock, right? But expected that Nick Chubb will start the year on the physically unable to perform list, which basically means that he won't be available for the first month of the season. And so, what was your thoughts when you saw that?
Great. As soon as I saw it, I thought it was great, because understand it's our job, okay, as the doctors, as the trainers, as the coaches, to help him make the right decision, because he's a tough dude now. He's going to play. He's going to play. He's going to play. That's the kind of player you want it to be, but he needs a full year, or as close to a year, to get everything up and running, ready to go, and he'll be a firecracker when he gets ready to go. I'm telling you.
Agreed. I mean, you got to be smart with him. Got to take care of him. It's a long season, like you said. Yep. I mean, it was Monday Night Football of the second week of the year last year when the injury happened, and so by say week 5, that'll be, like you said, about exactly a year from the surgery, and whatnot, and a little over a year from the actual injury. And so can't wait to see him get back out there, but want to get him healthy. And another person that I think everybody, can't wait to see get back out there, and it's just it's always something. It's always been interesting, but is Deshaun Watson, and whatnot, and obviously he didn't play at all in preseason, in the preseason games, and we know it's kind of been on and off injury protocol during training camp. And so, like, what have you seen from that, or what's your feeling and gut feeling on that whole situation and his readiness for the start of the year?
The biggest thing where I'm going to compromise my attitude and my feelings is the fact of the multiple practices, multiple team joint practices. That has helped. That has helped him a bunch. So he doesn't need to be out there in some of the contact situations that a pregame schedule would present to those kind of hits on him. But Coach Dorsey is going to have to do a good job on keeping him on time in the rhythm of a game. A team that can rush the passer to open up this first game, a team that's going to bring all kinds of pressures from all different directions and all different coverage principles behind that. He better be able to stay on time, because extending plays the way he's done before in the past is what gets him hurt. And that's my biggest fear right now, is that he's not going to be on rhythm. He's going to try to extend plays, and he's going to be back on the sideline again.
I agreed, and then I would also say, like, where I'm worried at is, can he not play, right? Like, did he not play in Seattle because he's not ready to play? And we had Brad Henderson, our great friend Brad Henderson, on right after the injury to talk to and explain to our viewers the nature of that injury last year. And it was one of those things that you may not ever fully recover, the way it was done on the throwing shoulder.
Yep.
But I worry about is how close is he? If he was truly not ready, and it was like he was ready, he was not ready, but if he was truly not ready to play in Seattle, is he going to all of a sudden be ready to play, week 1? Right. And so how much can get done between now and then. And so it's going to be interesting, to see Nick Chubb. I mean, we saw they found a way to do it last year, leaning on a stellar defense and a kicking game, right? Doing it without Deshaun Watson, without Nick Chubb, but it'll be interesting to see. And speaking of that, the formula, you got to be able to stop the run, especially in this division. And what in the run game is, probably been, I know it's preseason, but it's kind of been subpar. The run defense, I should say, has been subpar, in the preseason. And so, hopefully they're able to kind of flip things around and get that fixed. And I think they will when they have more of their premier players playing out there. But you've got, a lot of injury concerns to start the year with, some of their top premier players, right? Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, and Denzel Ward, right? And where's Denzel's availability going to be, available for week 1? And then, like, where's that head at, right? As and he's talked about, like, he's ready to, and we love him, and he's ready to go play, and he's never thought about shutting it down. But each time you do it, the time it takes to kind of come back out of the protocol lengthens, right? And so you worry about, hey, knock on wood, another one may shut him down for the entire season, if not for good.
Right.
So a lot of kind of more injury question marks than you'd like to be coming out of camp.
I'm going to go back to one more thing about Deshaun. You know what? The greatest players, in the toughest, most anxious, most pressure moments are the ones that can slow your heartbeat down, and go ahead and perform. But when you haven't had as many of those times, practice is different. Even in a going against other teams, in practices, it's different. It's been quite a while since he's been on the field and has to have that anxiety and that pressure of performing, He's got to be able to do that. And then along what you just said there on the run defense is that if we're not playing with a lead, then you're going to have to play the run, and otherwise you can play the pass when you're ahead.
Yeah, no doubt. And so excited to see it, excited to see the kickoff of the season. And hey, stick right with us, because when we get back, we're going to look around the rest of the NFL. Welcome back into Come Get Some, and this is Around the NFL. In G-Dub, our Pay That Man segment, which has been so popular from last year, has paid huge dividends this offseason into this year. And so I know you saw another one of our Pay That Man from last year, one that's been a big-time camp kind of dilemma down there in the Big D in Dallas. But CeeDee Lamb got paid today. Did you see that?
Yes,
so breaking news.
And we made a big deal about him last year, but holy cow. And, the art of negotiations, and I've told you that Jerry Jones, one of the best I've ever been with, but guess what? CD won that one.
CD won this one. 4 years. The rumors out there were he and his agent wanted on the shorter end. They wanted a 3-year deal, which is smart. The Cowboys wanted a 5 or 6 year deal, and so they met in the middle at a 4-year deal. $136 million, $100 million guaranteed, and $38 million signing bonus. That $38 million signing signing bonus is the record for a wide receiver,
Yes.
and he comes
Yes.
in just short of Justin Jefferson's, average per year on new money. So it makes him the second highest paid non-quarterback ever in NFL history. And I mean, and very well
And I'm
deserved.
glad he's
The
signed.
player he
I
is.
am. I'm
Yep.
very glad
I
he's
mean, he was
signed.
going. It was never an issue of
Yeah.
with this one, right? It was never an issue of whether the man was going to get paid.
Right.
Somebody was going to pay him, right? Somebody was going to pay, pay him whether he got traded, or not. And so, hey, congrats, CD. And now, as you know, it's a production business, and so you got to go live up to that hype and whatnot. But hey, another breaking news. One of our last guests that we had on, the last injury that you think is, but right here, Field Yates down in the Bahamas.
Oh.
Field Yates down in the Bahamas they were doing some sort of a tackling contest on the beach for and how well they tackled or something like that. The score was the seeding for their big time fantasy football draft, for ESPN and whatnot. And he separated his shoulder on vacation doing that. Separated his shoulder, had to go to a Bahamian hospital and get the shoulder set or whatnot. Like
The next time we have
come
him
on, man.
Yeah, next time we have him on, we're gonna have to spend a little bit of time on tackling fundamentals.
Oh,
okay? We're
come
gonna
on.
have to talk about this.
We are going to have to do that. We're going to have to get Field back on
Oh, yes.
specifically so you can teach him about wax
yes.
and smacks.
No
and,
doubt.
and the types of tackling and whatnot. Hey, we know the kicking has been in the news so much as of late, right? And so what was kind of your brief, like your 30-second overview of the NFL, the new NFL kicking rule, which you'd experienced in the XFL, but here in preseason? How do you think that experiment's going so far?
I thought it went very well in the preseason. I don't think anybody has shown exactly what they want to do. There's been no intricate any complex schemes, but I do like the fact that we're seeing the ball being returned by another really good athlete. We're having more people block and do a good job in showing that skill set. But I think it's all going to come up here pretty quick when the season starts. You're going to see some better scheme ideas, some pulls, some traps, some kickouts, and they're not doing that right now. And then we'll see if they go ahead and not just kick it off to put it on the 30-yard line.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's interesting. They say it's just preseason, but they say the at least from last year's preseason, the total number of attempts and the average per return and the total number of returns are up. And Kansas City kind of leading the way, interestingly, and they're like the one team that is not giving any ground, and so they're not moving at all. They're not retreating at all on the front line. They're just lining up, and when they see movement, they're attacking.
That was a very good concept.
They're attacking and blocking, and doing all their combo blocks and double
More of
teams.
an offensive line concept
type of mentality. And so, what would you do? And I think all football fans have gotten a taste of the weird CFL rule, kicking rule of the Rouge the past couple weeks. And for the fans that don't know and haven't seen it, in CFL, you've got these 20-yard long, 20-yard deep end zones. And if you miss a field goal, but you kick it through the end of the
end zone
in the air, then it's called a rouge, and it's 1 point. And so you can actually, as we've all found out and gone viral, win a game by missing a walk-off field goal tied. Like, I don't think I could do that.
there's no way. I could not put up with that. It looks more like soccer.
Oh, my God.
Well,
even soccer, it's got to go in.
They got to go in a goal. They got to hit it in the net.
Oh, it's like rugby or Australian rules football. I don't know. Over here, North America is going crazy with their kicking rules. I don't even know what to think anymore.
Not me.
But hey, we'll end it on this, and I know Browns fans are probably happy to see this right now. But Pittsburgh, I know we keep saying it's just preseason, but Pittsburgh's preseason offensive woes with their two quarterbacks of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and 13 drives, 1 field goal, so 3 total points, and that's it. Everything else was punts, missed field goals, so they only got into scoring position twice. 1 made field goal, 1 missed field goal, and then turnover on downs multiple times. So I 3 points, 13 drives. It's going to be
I'd like
interesting.
to be sitting in those meetings right now with Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith with all that going on right there. But, they're going to play great defense. They're going to be physical up front, so we'll see. And you're going to have to cut the possessions guys down in order to win games.
Play great defense and have an Arthur Smith run game, so it'll be interesting to see. But hey, stick right with us because when we get back, we're going to be talking about the NCAA and the kickoff weekend that's on the rise. Welcome back in to Come Get Some. And I know as we've been talking, we've still got to wait a little bit for NFL. We're already into the NCAA season. So that makes it even more weird, right, that we had the NCAA kickoff this past weekend. And so started getting college games. And now we're going to get a second weekend of college games all before the NFL starts. Again, I said this, there's this weird, we're used to only get that 1 week. We're between the two and all that stuff. But obviously it was a big upset. It seems like there's always one of those that happens that week 1 or week 0. But we saw in the Ireland game, which is starting to become a thing. I mean, for a number of years now, where it'll be at least one ranked opponent, sometimes two ranked opponents, but at least one ranked opponent will play international.
Right.
So they're trying to get more
and I
international
think that's great.
Recruiting.
I think that's great.
And everything, right? So you've seen teams playing New Zealand and Australia and all this type of stuff, London, college teams, but Florida State was upset by Georgia Tech in Ireland, but it all started with, I'm blaming it on Pat McAfee. It all started with Pat McAfee. And so I'm sure everybody has seen it now. It's blowing my mind, but did you see it? What do you think? What do you think? What's your prediction? I know, but what's the prediction? What was the over-under on number of Guinness on Friday that Pat McAfee, who, while being live, for anybody that missed it somehow, some way, they did the Pat McAfee show from a famous pub in Ireland, and he was obliterated on live TV for hours and hours, and then hung over like a mofo on Saturday on game day.
I saw one clip of it saying that this was number 21 that he was drinking.
Yeah, so
that was 21.
So
it's way past 21, but I saw the shot when he was drinking.
He said 30. It was a 30 Guinness day. And have you ever had a Guinness?
No.
Because you're a lager, like you're a garage beer, kind of Mick Ultra, Corona, like a lager type of light beer, Mexican beer type of not a heavy.
And I've been in Ireland.
Like Guinness, I can't drinking 30.
I've tasted it, it's just not me.
Drinking 30 Guinness, like that's like, I feel like that's like drinking 60 light beers or something like that. I mean, that's just crazy. What do you think? What do you think Saban was thinking on Saturday?
Did you see him look and stare at him a couple of times? He just stared at him, and Nick and I are so close. I thought, I'm so happy that he held what he wanted to say.
Oh my God!
He was looking at him, because I don't know if I probably couldn't hold it out and busted his ass some way.
It's gonna be interesting to see that year with those two there. He smelled like Bourbon Street or something like that. It was just sweating straight. Yeah,
everything.
He was just sweating straight like Irish car bombs and whatnot. And so, but it was down to the wire. We were watching it. Florida State was upset, but you know how it goes, right? In the season is like. This year, also, they're expanding to 12 playoff teams. I mean, it's if Florida State really is who the preseason polls,
ranked, they'll get back.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in.
I've been a
they'll
Georgia
be in the
Tech
playoffs
fan for a long time too. I was very glad to see him win.
And who knows? We may look up and see. Georgia Tech be a ranked team. The story of it may not be an upset. It may be one of those things where, hey, Georgia Tech is more real than people gave them credit for. But I think a Florida State team that runs the gamut and wins out will definitely be in the top 12 in the playoffs. They could probably lose honestly again. They could probably be a 2-loss team.
Could be.
And get in there. But hey, let's talk about OSU, right? And so we know, hey, OSU, our Buckeyes are kicking off this upcoming weekend at Akron. 50-point favorites. Like no hate on Ohio State and whatnot, but I'm probably gonna take the points there. If I was betting, I think I bet on Akron to be like, it's 49 points. Like they're up 7 touchdowns and they don't cover. I'm gonna take that's a huge spread. I'm gonna take the points for a game 1 kind of warm up type game.
I think a lot of Ryan Day and everything, but let's get in the game. Let's get good game action. Keep your players healthy. Don't worry about the score. Get a win. win the game. But if you're playing for the score and all that kind of BS, no. Okay, keep your players healthy. They're going to help you win a championship, and those reps are critical.
I'm excited to see kind of them roll out there. Excited to see how they play it and do it. I mean, all the talks out there. I've been down there. I've seen the roster as well too. All the talk out there is this is the most talented roster in college football in probably 7 years. Not just Ohio State, but like all of college football. And we know the pressure that comes with that. We know the NIL money, that's been invested in that, and we know kind of the expectations that are on them this year. And I know we've been talking Australian rules and crazy kicking and whatnot.
We got to see this.
We got to see it. Have you seen the freaking freshman kicker?
Yes,
I mean, they've got
punter.
They've got freaks and talent everywhere. The freshman punter, 6'7", 255-pound freshman from Australia. Australian rules.
He punts it 90
plus yards out of the stadium.
Air.
Out of the stadium. Carries 90 plus yards out of the stadium right here.
And you don't see wind blowing back up there in the trees. He just knocked the living daylights out.
Oh, it reminds me of when we were talking about with back in the day with guys like down at the Saints and whatnot, where you say, hey, maybe like you want your punter to get off, first. Like we talked about Thomas Morstead, who'd be rocked up, 250 or whatever, lifting all this weight, big, tall dude. Say, hey, maybe he looks like a tight end. Maybe have him get off the bus first. But that's like definitely a dude you want to get off the bus first. That's unreal right there. But hey, and we saw the Michigan, the team up north. We saw the penalties come out on them on. They're going to have to vacate, apparently, all the wins up till and championships up through last year. Right. But then their rookie head coach in Sean Moore is suspended for the entire year.
I saw that.
So I haven't heard anything out there yet on what's going to happen with that. I mean, I know they've got Wink. They've got Wink Martindale as the D coordinator.
I think a lot of Wink.
Maybe they should get 𝗟𝗑𝗩 to come be the interim head coach. I don't know. I don't know that the Ohio would revolt probably. I don't know that they could handle a Gregg Williams, Wink Martindale. That would be.
I think Tom Brady making a call, maybe get that done.
Maybe we'll see. Come get some right there. But hey, stick right with us, because when we get back, we're going to go into our 2-minute drill. Welcome back into Come Get Some, and this is our 2-minute drill, and unfortunately ending on a sad note. And so got some sad news. The football world got some sad news, from down in Alabama. But this is a picture of junior star quarterback at Morgan Academy down in Selma, Alabama. This is 𝗟𝗓𝗘, 16 years old, and was playing their opening game this past Friday. And got a freak accident, got a head injury on a tackle, and was life flighted from the game to Birmingham, and unfortunately did not make it. Passed away from a traumatic brain injury, and it's as safe as we still keep trying to make the game. It's crazy that these things happen, and we're just feeling for and sending out our prayers down there to Caden's family, his parents, siblings, his family, and his teammates, and everybody down there at Morgan Academy and in Selma. Our thoughts are with you. There's not really anything we can say or do in moments like this, but we're thinking about you up here in Cleveland. So best wishes to you guys. It's a tough thing. One of those tough things to see, especially as a parent, right? Being a parent, it's a tough thing to see. But hey, switching gears, guys, to the big play fans out there. A big new news that we have out there is we have our new streaming app out there that you guys can find on Roku, on Apple TV, on the App Store, on iOS, Android, wherever you can find. This is where all of our shows live and some of our new exciting projects that we've got coming up. But hey, 𝗟𝗑𝗩, send us out like you do.
All right, here we go. Ready, break?
Come get some.